The Dallas Cowboys just showcased one of the most iconic defensive performances that I have ever seen to start an NFL season, and it was on primetime Sunday Night Football. Right from opening kickoff, the Giants had absolutely no shot in this game, and we knew this Cowboys secondary was going to be lethal coming into the season. But this was a whole different level. Not only did the Giants wide receivers create zero separation throughout the entirety of this game, but Daniel Jones couldn't even breathe in the pocket without seeing Micah Parsons or, DeMarcus Lawrence or any of the Cowboys defensive linemen. They were all just ready to throw him into the turf. And I mean, at halftime, this game was completely over with a score of 26-0, including a couple of, special teams touchdowns, defensive touchdowns as well. And the Cowboys just sent a scary message in this game and put the whole world on notice. And in this video, I'll be breaking down why the Dallas Cowboys have what it takes to shock the world this season, but more importantly, why they can absolutely go on a huge run this season and potentially even make a Super Bowl run in 2023. However, before we jump into the video, do me a quick favor, guys. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. Let's see if we can get the video up to 500 likes. I will be covering the Cowboys all off season long with videos, live streams, updates, everything you need to know. I've got you guys covered, so join the family. And also, last thing I want to say, if you guys play fantasy football, and if you guys like, putting in higher, lower picks, which is my favorite game, go check out Underdog Fantasy. It is amazing. All you guys have to do is draft a team. You don't have to do roster management if you guys get stressed out about starting and sitting players or cutting and signing players. You don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Go check out Underdog Fantasy. Link in the description. Use my code. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So go check it out. But without any further ado, let's get back into the Dallas Cowboys. Now, going into the locker room at halftime, the Giants had a total of 81 yards and 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. Now, their confidence was shot and pretty much unrecoverable at this point. And to make it even worse, Dallas came out of the halftime break with the same momentum, driving right down the field for an easy walk-in Tony Pollard touchdown to continue the dominance of the night. Now, the Giants gave up and had pretty much no hope from here. And quite frankly, I already know the media is going to say, oh, it was only against the Giants. Any team would have done this against them. Nah, that's not how we're going to do this here. The Giants are coming off a great season last year where they overcame a bunch of expectations. And, to be completely honest, they had a great offseason, adding a bunch of different playmakers in terms of Isaiah Simmons, Sean Robinson, bringing in a whole new wide receiver court, getting Darren Waller. They got better. So the fact that the Cowboys did this on opening night, on primetime, in New York, in MetLife, is absolutely amazing. And, I don't want to hear people use excuses like this was just the Giants, they got lucky. No, this was dominance. And this is something that you want to see when you're building a team. When you want your team to go on a Super Bowl run, this is what you want to see. This is how you do it. By the end of the third quarter, the Giants were still scoreless and down 33-0. And, they were just fighting for pride at this point. And then it went to 40-0. And then things just kept getting worse for the Giants. After what seemed to be their best play of the day for the Giants, after a long catch and run for Isaiah Hodgins, Trayvon Diggs comes out of nowhere to force a fumble in yet another Giants turnover. At this point, I started to feel kind of bad. And, the Cowboys were unbearable defensively. However, offensively, if I'm being honest, there's still a ton of work that needs to be done for this Dallas pass offense. Although they won this game relatively easily, or not even relatively, this was an easy win for the Dallas Cowboys. But even though they won it easily, their passing offense didn't look tremendous at all by any means. Now, however, with that being said, their ground attack was really good, and they were pretty much getting whatever they wanted whenever they wanted it. They had 2 rushing touchdowns to Tony Pollard, and then they had an early fourth quarter touchdown to Kavontae Turpin, who seems to be an electric playmaker with the ball in his hands, and he's someone that they want to get involved early and often in this offense throughout the entirety of the season. And I would not be shocked to see him be more used consistently throughout the season. But overall, it was a very interesting game. Daniel Jones had 91 passing yards. He had 2 interceptions, only completing, less than half of his passes, and he also got sacked 6 times, had a rating of 22.2, which is horrible. I mean, you don't see that too often in the NFL. On the running game, New York didn't do too much as well. I mean, Saquon had a couple of nice runs, averaged 4.3 yards per carry. Daniel Jones was, trying to do his best carrying the ball, but didn't do too much. I mean, their leading receiver was Darren Waller, 3 catches, 33 yards. Dallas just put on a show. And, offensively, I want to go back to that real quick. Dak Prescott only threw for 143 yards. That just tells you how good of a defensive performance this was for Dallas. And, maybe we have to think about Dallas, maybe didn't need to be lethal in terms of passing the football tonight because they were up so early in this game and just needed to run the football and continue to dominate on the ground, and that's what they did. But I want to see this passing offense take strides. I want them to be a little bit better. We had a big catch for CeeDee Lamb that went for 49 yards to open up the game, and then from there we didn't really see too much. I mean, CeeDee had 4 catches for 77 yards. Brandon Cooks had 2 catches for 22 yards. And then, other than that, nobody else really offered anything in the passing game here for Dallas. And I do think that is something that I want to see better. Now, like I said before, the defense is amazing. The ground game is amazing. But if they want to win a Super Bowl, getting, this offense and this passing attack confident and consistent and just at the top of their potential, that's when you'll see the real growth. That's when you'll see the ability for them to go out and make Super Bowl runs when this pass offense gets to where they need to be. Now, I will say, last season, Dak Prescott almost led the league in interceptions, 15 thrown, even though he missed some games. That's terrible. He can't do that again. This game, he didn't throw any picks. He didn't throw the ball too much. But I think that, it's only going to get better from here. Obviously, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, they have a very good receiving core. I think if they needed to pass the ball, they would have been fine. But the number one thing to take away from this game was the defense. Michael Parsons was everywhere. I mean, he was everywhere. He got a sack. He forced an interception on the sideline. I mean, Daniel Jones is trying to run out of bounds, threw a very bad pass as Michael Parsons hit him. Forced a pick to Stephon Gilmore. Trayvon Diggs forced a fumble. You had, Osa getting 2 sacks and 2 QB hits. You had Dorrance Armstrong getting a couple QB hits, making him uncomfortable in the pocket. We had DeMarcus Lawrence getting a sack. Mozzie Smith getting a tackle for a loss. So everybody on this Dallas defense was playing, at an amazing level. And this is only the beginning, man. We're going to see so many good things out of this Dallas defense. We know they're top 5, but they might be better than that. They might be top 2. They might be top 3. I don't know where they're at right now, but this Dallas defense allowing, maybe even 0 points week 1 is absolutely crazy. Let me know what you guys think about this game for Dallas. As I'm recording this video, still 4 minutes left. The Giants have 0 points. Don't know if they scored yet, but hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.